Bikers mess with the wrong female Navy SEAL. The desert highway stretched long and lonely under the scorching afternoon sun. A small roadside diner, Ray's Pit Stop, stood at a dusty intersection, its neon sign flickering against the endless blue sky. Inside, a woman sat alone at the counter, nursing a black coffee and flipping through a tattered newspaper. She had the kind of presence that made people take notice, lean, muscular, and radiating quiet confidence. Her name was Alex Morgan, and she was no ordinary woman. She was a former Navy SEAL, one of the few females to have ever earned the Trident. After years of covert operations and brutal missions overseas, she was taking a break from the action. A cross-country road trip was supposed to be her time to unwind. But trouble had a way of finding her. The wrong target. The moment the bikers rolled in, the atmosphere of the diner shifted. The Iron Vultures, a notorious motorcycle gang, stomped inside, leather jackets, steel toe boots, and a bad attitude to match. The leader, Duke, a 6'4", bearded giant, cracked his knuckles and surveyed the room like he owned it. His gaze locked onto Alex. "Look what we got here, boys," Duke sneered, loud enough for everyone to hear. "A tough little lady all by herself." His gang chuckled, a low, menacing sound. Alex didn't even look up from her coffee. Duke walked over and placed a hand on her shoulder. "Now, sweetheart," he said, squeezing slightly, "how about you and me have a chat?" Alex sighed. Wrong move. In one swift motion, she grabbed Duke's wrist, twisted it painfully, and slammed his face into the counter with a sickening crunch. Blood sprayed across the napkin dispenser. The diner went silent. The other bikers jumped to their feet, reaching for weapons. Alex stood slowly, her piercing blue eyes locked onto them. "Big mistake," she muttered. "The fight begins." One biker lunged at her with a switchblade. Alex sidestepped, grabbed his wrist, and twisted it until the knife clattered to the floor. She delivered a precise elbow to his temple, knocking him out cold. Another came at her swinging a chain. She ducked, caught the chain midair, yanked him forward, and landed a devastating knee to his ribs. He collapsed, gasping for air. Duke groaned and staggered back to his feet, his nose broken and bleeding. Furious, he pulled out a pistol and pointed it at her. "Should have just played nice, lady," he spat. Alex didn't flinch. The moment his finger twitched on the trigger, she moved, a blur of speed and precision. She kicked the gun out of his hand and followed up with a spinning kick to his chest, sending him crashing into a booth. The few remaining bikers took one look at their fallen leader and decided they wanted none of this fight. They bolted out the door, tires screeching as they fled the parking lot. One last warning. Duke lay sprawled on the floor, wheezing. Alex knelt beside him, gripping his bloodied collar. "Listen to me," she said coldly. "I let you live today. Next time, I won't." Duke's eyes widened in terror. He nodded frantically. Alex stood, tossed a few bills on the counter for her coffee, and walked out. As she mounted her motorcycle and roared onto the highway, she didn't look back. She had places to be, and no time for fools. The desert wind whipped past Alex as she rode her sleek black motorcycle down the open highway. The encounter at Ray's Pit Stop was already fading from her mind. She had dealt with thugs before, bigger, meaner, and more dangerous than some wannabe outlaw bikers. But as the sun dipped below the horizon, she noticed something in her mirrors. Headlights. A line of motorcycles, their engines growling like a pack of wolves. The Iron Vultures weren't done with her. Alex exhaled slowly. "Should have stayed down, boys." She twisted the throttle, accelerating. The bikers followed, closing the distance. Soon, gunfire cracked through the night air, bullets zipping past her, sparking against the asphalt. Alex's mind switched into combat mode. Highway ambush ahead. She saw an old bridge crossing a narrow canyon. Perfect. She reached into her jacket pocket and pulled out a small, round object, a flashbang grenade she kept for emergencies. She bit the pin, held it for a heartbeat, then hurled it behind her. Boom. A blinding white light filled the road. The explosion of sound disoriented the bikers, making their wheels swerve violently. Two of them crashed into each other, their bikes tumbling across the pavement in a screech of metal and flames. Duke, somehow still standing, roared in anger. He and three others kept coming. Taking the fight to them, Alex braked hard, skidding to a stop on the bridge. She turned her bike sideways, using it as cover, and drew her custom SIG Sauer P320 from her holster. The bikers stopped as well, engines rumbling. Duke climbed off his Harley, his hand gripping a sawed-off shotgun. "You really think we were just going to let you ride off, huh?" he growled. Alex smirked. You should have. The first biker charged, swinging a tire iron. Alex sidestepped, caught his wrist, and slammed the butt of her gun into his face. He went down instantly. The second biker aimed a pistol. Alex fired twice, 2 clean shots to the shoulder. The man screamed, dropping his weapon. Duke cocked his shotgun, aiming right at her. Click. He pulled the trigger. Nothing. Alex grinned. You should clean your weapons more often. Before he could react, she lunged. She grabbed the shotgun, twisted it out of his hands, and headbutted him hard. Duke staggered back, dazed. Alex finished it with a brutal roundhouse kick to his jaw. He collapsed, unconscious. The last biker standing threw up his hands and bolted, running into the night. The final warning. Alex walked over to Duke's limp body. She crouched down and grabbed his bloody leather vest. This was your second warning, she said softly. There won't be a third. She stood, holstered her gun, and got back on her bike. The desert wind howled as she rode off into the darkness, leaving the battered gang behind. This time, they would think twice before messing with the wrong woman. The desert stretched endlessly before Alex as she sped down the highway, her mind sharp and adrenaline still burning in her veins. The iron vultures had learned a hard lesson tonight, but something told her it wasn't over. Duke was the type of man who wouldn't let go of a grudge. He had resources, connections, and if Alex knew anything about men like him, he'd be calling in reinforcements. She needed to be ready. An unexpected ally a few miles down the road, Alex pulled into a small, isolated motel, the kind of place where no one asked questions. She parked her bike, checked in under a fake name, and took a hot shower, washing away the dust and blood. As she stepped out, she noticed something odd, a shadow under the door. Someone was outside. Her instincts kicked in. Silently, she grabbed the combat knife hidden in her boot and moved toward the door. Then a knock. She stayed silent. Another knock. This time, a voice. Morgan. It's me. She knew that voice. Gabriel Vance. A former Marine, now working as a bounty hunter. She hadn't seen him in years. What the hell was he doing here? She opened the door just enough to see his face, tough, scarred, and serious as ever. I know you like to work alone, he said, but you're gonna need help. Duke's bringing the Black Crows into this. Alex's stomach tightened. The Black Crows. They weren't just a biker gang. They were a mercenary outfit that ran guns and drugs across the Southwest. Ex-military. No rules. No mercy. If they were getting involved, this was about to turn into a full-scale war. Setting the trap, Alex didn't like waiting for trouble. She preferred to take the fight to the enemy. Where's their base? She asked. Vance smirked. Old warehouse, 50 miles south. You thinking what I think you're thinking? Alex strapped on her gear, knives, pistols, and enough ammo to take on an army. Yeah, she said. We end this. Tonight. The warehouse was heavily guarded. Black Crows bikers patrolled the perimeter, armed with rifles and body armor. Alex and Vance moved like ghosts through the shadows. She climbed onto the roof while Vance handled the distraction. Moments later, boom. An explosion rocked the back of the compound. Showtime. Alex dropped through a skylight, landing silently inside the warehouse. She moved quickly, eliminating 2 guards with precise, silenced shots. Then she saw him. Duke. He was standing near a table, surrounded by Black Crow enforcers, shaking hands with a man she recognized from her military days, Rafael Cortez, a former Special Forces commander turned cartel enforcer. This wasn't just about revenge anymore. This was bigger. Cortez was supplying the gang with military-grade weapons. Alex's mission had just changed. This wasn't about survival. It was about stopping a war. All hell breaks loose before Duke could finish his deal. Alex made her move. She dropped smoke grenades, plunging the room into chaos. Gunfire erupted. She moved fast, taking out enemies one by one. Vance entered from the back, shotgun blazing. Duke tried to run. Not this time. Alex caught up to him in the alley behind the warehouse. He pulled a knife. She didn't even give him the chance. One precise kick to his knee, snapping it sideways. He screamed. She grabbed him by the collar. No more second chances, she growled. Bang. A single shot. Duke fell. Vance appeared next to her. Cortez got away. Alex clenched her jaw. Then we hunt him next. She holstered her gun and walked toward the rising sun. This wasn't over. Not until every last one of them was gone.